Alright guys, I want to discuss Kenshi's, where I feel Kenshi should be on the tier list, and how some of his matchups truly are. Now, on certain MK sites, there are some players that would have you believe that this character has anywhere from 6 to 10 losing bad matchups. In my opinion, that's extremely preposterous. A character like this, with the tools he has and the certain styles he can change up to tackle on certain matchups, there's no way in hell this character has more than possibly, at the worst, one losing matchup. Now, I'm going to go through what people consider are his bad matchups first and explain why I feel they are not. And then I'll move on to every other character in the game. So, starting off with Freddy. Now, Freddy is looked at as a character that beats Kenshi and has the advantage. If anything, I would say it would be quite the opposite. I think Kenshi has the advantage. Or we could just call it even, but the reason I think Kenshi has the advantage in his matchup is against Freddy. Okay, the match starts. Kenshi has, one of the best enhanced special moves in the game, so it's going to be easy for Kenshi to land the first hit and take that meter. With Kenshi, all you should do is get Freddy in the corner. Once you get Freddy in the corner, if you stay in the sweet spot of shoulder range, where you can make it -4 constantly, Freddy struggles against that a lot because his only option at that point is to use a bar on enhanced teleport to get out of the corner and pass Kenshi. Now, since Kenshi is in that position where he's at max distance shoulder range, he can easily bait and punish teleport a lot easier than other characters can because of his ground. Now he can just punish shoulder if he baits it with 4-2-2 back 1 pop-up and then go into reverse uppercut combo, put Freddy back in the corner, and now Freddy lost the bar, and if Freddy happens to have no meter on wake up, then Kenshi can just come in and bulldog him with enhanced shoulder charge, because that will be all of Freddy's non-meter wake ups, and he will get huge damage off that. And another thing, since Kenshi's going to constantly be staying in that distance once he has Freddy cornered, where Spirit shoulder charge is max distance, if Freddy is respecting the second follow-up, what Kenshi could do is he could follow up with back 2 or 4-3 mix-ups, or Freddy jumps, he can easily standing to anti-air Freddy, because Freddy is a character in the air that he cannot change his angle with, an air dive kick or an air special, because he has none. So he's one of the easiest characters to anti-air in the game, and plus he has a big hitbox, so it makes things even easier. Now moving on to another character that people believe Kenshi loses to. Now, a lot of people say Scarlet beats Kenshi just because of the big hitbox. In my opinion, all the big hitbox does is it keeps this from being in Kenshi's advantage, so I would call this match even because of that whole reason. But Scarlet still has trouble getting in without meter. If she does not have meter for red dash, then she has to get in just like every other character. She can't really zone Kenshi, he can reflect. She can't really do anything when Kenshi is staying at his sweet spot, which is shoulder range, because she has no moves that get past that without enhanced armor dash. So she's forced to either jump or use her crappy teleport, which is death on block. So in this opinion, I would say it's an even match. It depends who has a meter advantage, who makes the right read. Scarlet's armor counters Kenshi's armor if it's done after Kenshi uses his, but on the flip side, Kenshi's armor also counters Scarlet if she decides to use enhanced dash to get in and he reads it and does it late. Now going on to Kenshi's next matchup, which people feel they lose. Smoke. A lot of people feel Smoke beats Kenshi. Now, my main gripe with the reason people say Smoke beats Kenshi is because they're like, well, Kenshi really can't stay full screen in zone Smoke because he has the risk of getting hit by a smoke bomb, this and that. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be playing the match like that. Second of all, Kenshi is good against Smoke if you stay outside a sweep distance where Smoke is forced to deal with Spirit Charge. If you stay in that distance and stay on Smoke, he can't really do anything besides land a random jump in or do something like a teleport or whatever. And that's a lot of risk on Smoke's part. So, he's the one who has to make the risk. He's the one who has to do something, not Kenshi. Kenshi can just stay in that range and try and maintain it as much as possible, and it makes Smoke very uncomfortable. So, I would say this match is even. It's also easy for Kenshi to get the life lead and chip by tagging Smoke with a few shoulder charges, because it will happen. Now moving on to Kenshi's next matchup that people feel he loses to is Reptile. Now, a lot of people say, well, Reptile wins this match because if he's full screen, he can, throw out a force ball, then cancel the force ball when Kenshi goes to reflect and use the bar to enhance force ball, which will, bait Kenshi, and then he'll come in and combo him when he's trying to reflect. Alright, that's all good and dandy, but my question to you is, why would Kenshi want to stay full screen and try and zone Reptile when Kenshi can just get in on him, and then it makes things worse for Reptile? Because when Kenshi is staying in that sweet spot range, outside sweep distance, and just doing nothing, waiting for Reptile to make a move, he can checkmate Reptile all day. What is Reptile going to do? Down 4? You whiff that, you get hit by a shoulder charge. Kenshi wins in chip too because his normals are better. He could punish dash easily 1-1-4. If it's blocked, he can go into his option select, which is just ending in shoulder charge. Reptile can't punish that. Reptile can only punish a shoulder charge at very, very, very close distance. And that's what? That's only 11%. That's just a tap on the wrist. You think Kenshi cares about that? No. Another thing is when Reptile gets cornered by Kenshi, it doesn't matter if Reptile has a meter to get up. You want to know why? Kenshi can just come in and do enhanced shoulder. Reptile's wake up. Reptile's forced to block, or otherwise he'll get launched. And that's a big problem. So as a Reptile player, you got to make a decision. Do you want to stay full screen and go for your force ball into enhanced force ball mix-ups, which you're going to use a bar, and you're really not going to have the time to maintain that position a lot in this match? Or do you want to use that meter to get the hell out of the corner once you block a shoulder charge by using a bar for enhanced shoulder charge, for enhanced dash? So, in my opinion, this match, you could say it's even, but if this match would go to anyone's advantage, it has to go to Kenshi. There's no way I see Reptile beating Kenshi. Next matchup that people feel Kenshi loses to is Kung Lao, and I can easily see why a lot of people feel Kung Lao beats Kenshi because of his teleports, his jumping, his mobility. Now, the thing about this match a lot of people don't realize is Kung Lao can only really fight Kenshi if he's in his face point blank. If Kung Lao's full screen, if he's mid screen, all that, he can't really do anything to Kenshi. So Kenshi controls the match a lot better in, saying, well, Kung Lao has to come into me. I don't have to do this or that for Kung Lao. Kenshi just has to stay away from Kung Lao. Kung Lao just has to get in on Kenshi. Kung Lao does have the best chance of punishing shoulder up close, but again, it is sketchy because if you do 2-1, the second part of the 1 will whiff depending on the range, and it does happen often. So the way you can punish the shoulder up close is if you happen to go for punch for Kung Lao, you have to do 2 enhanced spin. That will punish it. But again, it's risky and you have to be on point because that move is quick. It's 8 frames. Another thing is in this match, people say it's 7-3 Kung Lao, which is stupid. Okay, if you have Sub-Zero versus Kung Lao, I'm just going to use another matchup as an example to how dumb people have this matchup being 7-3 Kung Lao. If you have a matchup like Sub-Zero versus Kung Lao with just 6-4, because, Sub-Zero has this option to duck instant teleport, and then he could go with 2-2 freeze, or if Kung Lao decides to do delayed instant teleport 3, he can just do early 2-2. Okay, Sub-Zero has an option, we get it. Now, if you have a character like Kenshi, which has the same option Sub-Zero has, but has it even better because Kenshi has something Sub-Zero does not have. 1, safe armor that he can use to blow up Kung Lao's teleport options, and 2, Kenshi has a move that he can use to lower his hitbox, which is down 3, which Sub-Zero does not have at all. And 3, Sub-Zero's wall game is taken away by Kung Lao's mobility. Kenshi in the corner, if Kung Lao decides to wake up with anything aside from enhanced teleport, he's going to get hit by enhanced shoulder charge, and that will hit Kung Lao out. So Kung Lao in the corner against Kenshi, he can't be like, oh, you have me in the corner, I'm just going to this and that. No, you have to respect Kenshi's armor option to a degree. So if that match is 6-4 for Kung Lao or Sub-Zero, how the hell is this match not at the very worst 5.5 in Kung Lao's favor against Kenshi? And I also feel like Kenshi players are doing a lot of things that they have a lot of options that they're not really taking advantage in the matchup. Like, for example, ending strings in 4-2-2 back 1 always. Why would you want to end in 4-2-2 back 2 on Kung Lao? You don't want Kung Lao in your face. You want to keep that little distance away where he's forced to always get in and teleport. So this match would probably be Kenshi's only bad match, which I could see at, just slight advantage. Otherwise, you could also make a case for it being even, which I could see. Another matchup people have Kenshi losing to is Cyrax. This match is kind of like the smoke matchup, which, people will be like, Well, the reason Kenshi loses to to Sarks, is because you can't stay full screen and outzone him, because then he'll get bombs out. And then once he has bombs out, he'll have momentum going, he'll get in, he'll throw nets, he'll get hit by bombs and reset. Yeah, that's true, but again, the way you play the Sarks matchup with Kenshi should be similar to how you play the smoke matchup. You should not be staying full screen from Sarks and zoning him to death. You should stay outside that sweep distance where Sarks can't really do anything and Kenshi is in control with his shoulder charge. This will cause Sarks to have only one option, to jump over, to get a jump in. And Kenshi, and again, Sarks is one of those characters that is a lot easier to anti-air the most because he does not have air tricks. You know, he can't do something like an air dive kick or an air teleport. Well, he could do the air teleport, but again, it's not going to matter because if you're good at anti-airing with standing 2, even if he decides to teleport, you'll recover in time up to standing 2, where you could just down one, Rising Karma launch him after the teleport, so it makes no difference. Sarks is one of the easier characters to anti-air. So you want to stay outside that sweep distance, and Sarks can't really do anything. He can throw a net, but you can easily block that, and then he's at disadvantage, so you can just come up and clip him with shoulder charges. And anytime he anytime he opens his chest to throw a bomb, you can just shoulder charge him and push him back. And once you get him in the corner, then it's hard for him to get out because you'll be outside that sweet spot distance, similar to Freddy. And in all his wake-ups, he pretty much can't do anything from that distance. And now another matchup people feel Kenshi loses to is Kabal. In my opinion, this match is even, and a lot of players would misguide you in telling you why Kabal beats Kenshi and so and so. People still think that all Kabal has to do to beat Kenshi is just throw fireballs full screen, and then that's all you need to beat Kenshi. People say it's an 8-2 or 7-3 Kabal's favor because of that alone. Now here's the problem. You are not at the highest possible level in this matchup. At the highest possible level of Kenshi being played at his best potential against a Kabal being played at his best potential, you're not going to win this match throwing fireballs full screen. If anything, doing that is going to do more harm than good, because there is a point where the Kenshi player will reach a certain level where, after enough Kabal experience against top Kabals, they will reach a certain point in skill where they will be able to reflect Kabal's instant air fireball on reaction. And what I mean by that is not up close, not really mid screen, but full screen. If Kabal is full screen and he tries to instant air fireball zone Kenshi all day, the Kenshi player can just dash up and reflect, and through enough experience, the Kenshi player will be able to tell when the fireball is coming from full screen to Kenshi if it's height enough to hit Kenshi in the head. And if it is, he can easily reflect it. If it's not, then he'll just dash under it and get Kabal in the corner. So with that said, Kabal does not beat Kenshi by zoning. That's not how the match is played at the highest level. In lower levels where Kenshis don't have that much experience, they don't really know what to do, they're not that good with the reflect yet, then of course Kabal overwhelms Kenshi completely. Now, how Kenshi plays this match is, it's also similar to the Sarks and Smoke matchup. You have to keep, but a little bit different, you have to keep Kabal in that range outside sweep distance, but you have to also keep it so he cannot go outside farther than the spirit charge range, because if you have Kabal go outside the shoulder charge range, then you give Kabal one option, and his one option is to do a dash cancel, dash cancel fake outs, and if he reads you're going to do a shoulder charge, he'll move out of distance, and then once you whiff a shoulder charge, he'll whiff punish you with dash. So you need to take that option away, and there are two options you can do. Play at a distance where Kabal cannot move back in order to avoid a shoulder charge, or play close enough so that Kabal cannot press you. So it's sort of like, I'd probably say exactly sweep range. Another misguided thing in this matchup is, a lot of people say, don't use Spirit Charge up close on Kabal because it's easy punish with 4-4. That's not true. Punishing Spirit Charge on block with 4-4, you have to be a Jedi. 95% of the time, you won't even punish it, even against the corner and the wall. If you have Kenshi in the corner and you do a shoulder charge to hit Kabal and he blocks it, it's still extremely difficult to punish that with 4-4. So you can abuse that to go in. Yes, he will be forced to block the 4-4 or 4-3-2, and then he'll get in his advantage going. But the mix-up you can do after that is you can do enhanced shoulder charge or enhanced Rising Karma, and Kabal will get blown up by that. So it's always a 50-50 on his part in trying. Kabal has a 50-50 in trying to punch a shoulder charge, which pretty much applies to the entire cast. So against Kenshi, you got to get Cabal in the corner. Once you get in the corner, Cabal is one of those characters that can't really do anything in the corner against Kenshi. All Cabal can do is, if you try and pressure him with shoulder charges at max distance, he could try jump over. You could anti-air him. Again, what you should be doing against Cabal is option select 2. If Cabal jumps at you, and I see a lot of Kenshis fall for the air fireball delay, so they make your shoulder charge whiff. To avoid that, you should get used to anti-airing with 2, because when Cabal jumps at you, if he jumps in the air then does an instant air fireball and you do shoulder charge to whiff, he'll get in. But if you do standing 2 and he does, you know, air instant air fireball to stay in the air, you can just do shoulder charge off that and hit him. So that's how you get around that. Also in the corner, if Cabal wakes up with enhanced dash, or any wake up Cabal has, even with meter, if he decides to wake up with anything and you do enhanced shoulder charge late on, do it later than his on his wake up, it will beat all his options and you'll win meter for meter. So Kenshi wins this match. He beats Cabal meter for meter, beats Cabal in the corner, and basically how Cabal wins his match is Cabal has 2 objectives. He has to get in Kenshi's face, stay in, which means you're not going to be wanting to end with overhead or saw blade against good Kenshi because you don't want him away from you. He's going to be doing a lot of like 2 nomad dash cancels, back 1-2-1s, 4-3-2. I recommend not abusing back 1-2-1 string on Kenshi because that's just giving an opportunity for Kenshi to armor out. I recommend just doing 2 nomad dashes into 4-3-2s. That works better on Kenshi because you force him to armor at specific points. You don't give him more options to armor in certain strings. So what Cabal has to do is he has to stay point blank at Kenshi and stay in. Otherwise, Kenshi wins from every other side of the screen. And now going through Kenshi's other matchups, I would say Scorpion. This rumor that Scorpion goes 5-5 with Kenshi because full screen Hellfires. Are you guys serious? What is the first month of the game? No, that does not work on a good Kenshi. If Kenshi decides to stay outside sweep distance, there's nothing Scorpion can do besides try and jump and hope he gets a lucky jump in. That's it. This match, I would say Kenshi's advantage. Kenshi vs. Liu King, I'd say Kenshi's advantage. Kenshi vs. Sub-Zero, Kenshi's advantage. One of the worst matchups in the game, by the way. Kenshi vs. Sindel, Kenshi's advantage. Kenshi's advantage. This is definitely Kenshi's advantage versus Katana. Kenshi has the advantage versus Cage. Jade's worst matchup is Kenshi, so of course he has the advantage. Advantage versus Melina. Advantage versus Nightwolf. Advantage versus Noob. Advantage versus Sector. Advantage versus Sonya. Advantage versus Jax. Advantage versus Kano. Advantage versus Striker. Advantage versus Shang. Advantage versus Baraka. Rain, I'm gonna say it's even because I don't really feel like getting into everything, but I feel Raiden has some options that a lot of characters wish they had against Kenshi that makes the match even, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if this match turns up being advantage for Kenshi in the future. Cyber Sub advantage. I don't have Quan Chi on his console, but advantage. And Shiva advantage. Rain advantage. And yeah, I think that's everyone. Now, you guys are probably like, well, Kenshi seems ridiculous with all these winning matchups. Well, the truth is he is ridiculous. In my opinion, he's nothing worse than top 2. For this tier list, it kind of depends how you would do it. Like, for me to rank Kenshi as an absolutely ranking part, it depends. It really depends on how you do the tier list, because I'm going to use Third Strike as an example. They have a tier list where they do it by overall numbers, so the character has the most winning matchups and numbers is considered number 1. If you were to do it that way, then Kenshi would be number 1. However, if you did the tier list a different form, where you would have to rank characters on the amount of losing bad matchups and etc., then we could make a case that Cabal is number 1 because Cabal has less even bad matchups than Kenshi does. So Cabal would be number 1. So it really depends on how you do the matchup. Otherwise, I would just say, to make it simple, I'd just say S tier, Cabal and Kenshi definitely. Those 2 characters are ahead of everyone else, S tier. And then after that, you'd have, S tier, which would be, Cyrex, Freddy, Sonya, Kung Lao, and then the rest of the tier list, which I don't really feel like going into. I just want to get my opinion on Kenshi off on this video, and be sure you guys discuss and see. Let's see what happens. Maybe at the end of 2013, people will actually start seeing how Kenshi truly is.